My biggest concern out of both of these teams, and in the game entirely, I would say, is probably Dartmouth. I feel like we've seen so many of these Tinies just fall off, especially in quiet games. And this should be a quiet game. We've got Medusa and we've got Terrorblade, so I'm not really expecting these guys to be sprinting at each other or anything like that. And I think that might be a problem for the Tiny, especially with the supports he has as well, where you've got like Weaver, Warlock. Like, are they really going to be finding kills? I hope so, but I'm not. I think they might be lulled into a sort of stalemate game, in which case Dartmouth is going to be the biggest sufferer out of all. Although that said, one of the teams got a Slaughter. I don't really know how that hero kind of fares in a quieter game.
Yeah.
We'll find out. I think it's time for the dressing gown to come off, Teacup. Don't worry, chat, I've got stuff underneath, but it's just very warm up here right now, so. Sorry, the robe. Ah, and that incredibly awkward moment Teacup disconnected, so that was absolutely perfect. I thought he was just absolutely throwing me into the deep end without my inflatables on, but no, he has disconnected, so great timing, Teague. Thank you for that. As Arme trying to contest this rune here and might actually be successful in doing so. 4 runes for Xtreme. That is a start, but if Arme dies, they'll be able to make something out of this at least on the side of OG.LATAM, but he's so fast. Look at him go. He's just going to get it back up the tower. The right click's coming through. The wand. Arme, he's going to live. He gets the bounty rune and he gets away. That is crazy. Oh my god. Well, this sucks for them. They're now starting the lanes with like no money. They didn't get any bounty runes. Well, I know what you do now. They're on the struggle bus. Gonna be starting at a lane disadvantage for sure. I mean, it's one of those things where you don't want to make too big a deal out of it because strong lanes can still make up for missing on bounties, but it does make a difference. I think missing one bounty is kind of like, missing all the bounties is, you're not having tangos coming out if you've planned for that. Misho gonna get turned to ice. But yeah, as mentioned, his job is to bully Poloson. Poloson trying to get the pull off here onto the ranged creep, might just be able to do so, but Misho's nearby. Will do his best to kill that one. As Illich is going to get a bit of farm under his tower. I'm interested to see how this middle lane goes as well. I feel like this could be really bad for Tiny if XM starts to get the bully going. I don't know, Tiny, he's extremely low armor hero. When he's under his tower, he feels okay, but the moment he gets out of that protection, that is a 0 armor hero. Slardar, he's all physical, baby. He's really going to crack down on this Tiny's rocks. I always feel like Mago could have considered starting with a... Ooh, missing that range creep as well. Could have started with a Ring of Protection, honestly. It's not often I'd ever say that about a mid Tiny. Like, it's bad, for sure, but, Slardar is just going to do so much. Already, look at this, 12 and 5 on the last hits. Tiny, 8 and 2. It's a pretty significant difference. And XM, first blood happening up in the top lane. As Ector does go down first, but kills off Xingqiu immediately afterwards, but he doesn't get the first blood, so overall that is a pretty big win for Xtreme. Xingqiu just about clutching up and getting the kill first. XM is really cooking this middle lane. Like, bottom lane, Poloson very low, will be falling, but a return kill for Arme wouldn't make it too bad, but Melisho, he's got himself the Fairy Fire, so he's going to be okay. And that might have been the Lotus as well. Actually, no, Lotus still available, so Melisho can go grab that one up and feel very happy about things. Good kill for OG.LATAM down here.
You know who else is happy, Nomad? Not me
not
and my, not my neighborhood with their power, but it's fine. What up? We're back.
Did you hear the point you left, by the way?
No.
Oh, I said, I'm getting warm, so I'm going to take my dressing gown off. And then it was just silence, and I was like, well, I've got stuff on underneath, and then it was still silence, and I was like, oh, well, you're being very awkward, I guess I'll just continue with the cast, and then I got the message that you'd disconnected, I was like, oh.
Amazing.
You
I mean,
were
I've taken mine off too,
you was absolutely screwing me over in the cast.
I promise you I wasn't, I promise you.
I appreciate that.
No, it's actually really scary. It's like this, basically the whole power, the whole house, because like everything gets auto turned off. It's like a loud electrical snap.
Ooh.
So now it's happened twice. And I'm
Alright.
like, yeah, I'm very spooked. But don't worry, guys. Who cares about my safety? We got Dota to watch.
Yeah, we got
Alright,
Moose
Jinky.
getting cooked up by Jinky right here as well. 6 stacks of
6
poison.
It is level 1 poison. 7.
Oh, wasn't enough.
I'm sorry. Yeah, level 1 poison. It really is quite a...
Yeah.
It's as bad as my power, it seems. Wait, hold on a second.
Hold on.
That's another team in the Liquids facility. Xtreme's there too.
bro.
It's very busy.
Yeah, I bet. I hope they got a good cafeteria to fit all these players in.
Okay, looking at the last bits, of course, I need to quickly update myself. It does seem like everyone's pretty content with the start of this game. No team has truly pulled ahead. Kind of hitting their stride.
Yeah, mid lane is kind of where the biggest sort of disparity is appearing, as XM is doing good work, but nice rotation in from El Misho here. Mago coming in. Oh, doesn't quite have enough mana for the toss though, and XM might just escape this one yet. He gets himself away, survives a Weaver gank, and lives for now. Mago would be happy with that one.
I think that, yeah, the main thing there is we expect Slada to have slightly more CS than the Tiny, but the fact that Tiny is, what, like a creep wave or 2 away from catching up, this rotation from the Weaver is what you need. Send the Slada back to base, give Tiny a couple, you know, not a couple minutes, but like a minute of uncontested farm in the mid lane. Yeah, we'll see if XM can maybe find a kill on the Tiny. And now Moose is rocked up to help him.
Yeah, everybody's here to help out Mr. Tiny, but also Palosson coming in to help out XM. But if XM gets sent, I mean, actually, he might just be dead. He's got the Fatal Bonds upon him. The Imps are coming. Palosson getting beaten down as well. He gets the bug off him and will just about survive. Look at them trying to deal damage to this catapult to deal damage to XM. Guys, it's level 1 Fatal Bonds. It's not going to do it.
And the real question is, what does XM do now, right? Weaver came in, forced him to base. He TP'd back to mid, Warlock sent him to base. He's trying to get a kill on Moose, and
yeah, that's
alright.
gonna work out.
I did not expect that to be the option on the cards, right? But yeah, just walks up, sees an out of position Warlock, and yeah, if the Warlock doesn't die there, the Slada is so despair. But the fact that he gets a kill before going to base, alright, XM. He's content, not happy, just content.
Yeah, he's kind of, I mean, he was kind of doing so well at mid that he's kind of now just letting things even out against Mago, which, you know, also feels bad when you've done so much work to sort of win the lane, to then just have it nullified is kind of bad.
The thing is though, Slardar mid is kind of the equivalent of like a Huskar mid in certain matchups where Huskar with a laning lead wants to keep reminding the enemy like, hey, I'm ahead, I got the counter. Slardar into Tiny is kind of the same logic, right? It's like you want to keep bashing him, keep putting him to low HP. So one support rotation really helps a lot on Dark Mago though. He rotates the top lane.
Yeah, Jinku should be dead here. They'll need a little bit more, but they will find it with a Shadow Word upon him. No chance of survival. Will just be a pretty clean kill onto Jinku, and back towards the middle lane. DD used effectively by Dark Mago.
Nice move. In general, the early game here from OG.LATAM is pretty nice, right? Like, they identified the need to shut down the Slada, the supports have rotated in, then Tiny goes, thank you for helping mid, let me quickly go and help you top, so yeah, nice moves. CS-wise, they are all kind of farming at the same speed. There is no nothing crazy really happening between the courses. Moves again, finds himself in the river next to a Slada. That is not the place you want to be.
Certainly not, but at the same time, they are able to kill off Jinku, and Paulson not particularly looking healthy either. Mago looking in, but can't quite finish the job, as XM will just keep his support safe. He's got the 6, but he's really struggling to make anything happen with it. He really needs that Blink Dagger as the stun just goes wild. Mago, absolutely fine.
Yeah, luckily for Musa, his team was all around him. Of course, he knew that. So when I say lucky, it's more of a bait, not luck. And yeah, just again, the early game damage of the Warlock, Tiny, even the Weaver is really hurting the low damage supports of the SD and the AA. Like they do not gank the map. They don't make these quick plays. They're very level dependent supports, right? Like you kind of want multiple points in poison. You need the Ice Blast on the Ancient Apparition, which in fairness, he did just hit level 6 on the AA at minute 9. So he's ready to fight. Like, weirdly enough, I did not pay attention to how AA got 6, but I guess he just
he helped
stuck around for a kill. Yeah,
quite a while.
Right. Okay.
Just hanging out in the middle lane.
Throwing the ult on top lane.
Zentor, yeah, throwing everything onto Hector, and they will bring him down. And nice moves out. That is what we expect. Jinq with the setup and XXS with the follow-up, but at that time it was really just XXS running at them as Xtreme going pretty deep for that kill, and it's going to cost him. He will die in the middle lane. They're just not leaving him alone. 3 heroes camping the middle lane, trying to shut out this Slardar. They're kind of recognizing that Slardar is their tempo hero. He is going to be that barrier between them and the Medusa, and if they can take him out and shut down his game, then it's going to make it much easier to put pressure on the Medusa in the mid game. I think that's a great call. Yeah,
they do need to try and find some additional pacing. Do you think Terrorblade is going to... Okay, no, it's not. Why would I suggest this? I was like, do you think Terrorblade would do like a Manta Diffusal type build and then soon like after like a Hurricane Pike? But no, he's not. He's just going for the traditional option.
I'm glad you said that because I was thinking of saying it, but I didn't want to sound silly. I'm glad that you're having the same thoughts as me. That's good.
I like to entertain all the builds. You know, sometimes players will do this, but then I was like, it's K1. He would never buy a somewhat sacrificial item that will stall out his big plan for the carry.
He plays for himself, that is for sure. Another day, another round of mana drafts, all across the board.
When do you think the patch is coming? Everyone keeps asking, but I've never asked you.
Well, I'm not going to ask you because, you know, obviously you know, because you work at Valve.
For legal reasons, I do not. Yeah. You are listening, Valve, and you are thinking I'm parading this knowledge and this lucrative role. No, I'm not. Okay, anyway, back to you, Nomad.
Yeah, I'm hoping Thursday. You know, Thursday's often patch day, so I'll go Thursday.
Okay. Good hope. It's always like this. That's like, if anyone ever asks you, Thursday's always the best day, you know? It's like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Maybe this Thursday, maybe next Thursday. All the Thursdays. Why not a patch every Thursday?
Patch Thursday, yeah, let's go back into development mode.
Yeah.
They're looking at Arme here. Don't know if this is possible, although they've got the high ground. They're just making this super obvious.
Dragging the entire creep wave, like, alright,
Elmisha's like sneaking up, being like, alright, we got eyes on the enemy, and she's like, yeah, I'm coming. Oh, no, okay, alright. Well, back to the tower. We will take this tier 1. And Arme gets himself away to this lovely, lovely stack in the jungle, so it does look like Arme has been a little bit better looked after than Hector at the moment. Hector, of course, having a death to his name as well, meaning that, yeah, Arme's going to be winning the carry drag race at the moment.
Not only that, I think the offlane is such a talking point here. The fact that the Centaur already has the entire Crimson Guard, right? Soon to be Blink Dagger. Can the Terrorblade even do damage if they rock up to a 5-on-5? Like, Terrorblade's, he's only a right-click hero. That could be quite damning for them.
There we go, trying to invade this triangle here as the Golem comes out onto the two of them. Fatal Bond's also coming down, but the return kill onto Elmisha is very quick. Elmisha and Jinq both dead to start this one off as an AA Blast goes flying through, absolutely missing onto everybody. They're going to TP in on this one. They need to help out their Medusa. Toss out from the go, but in comes XXS trying to save the day, but it's not enough. The damage from Hector, it follows the Medusa and kills her off. Big play from OG.LATAM to get themselves into this game number 1. And now Ravage coming down as well. Yeah, XM, this is not a party you're invited to. Trust me, I'm an expert in that. Dartmago getting ice feet up. Then will have to back himself away as Blolson, Jesus, he's just being harried up to the high ground here. He's got those illusions on him as well. Hector, he wants him, and Hector will find him. XXS trying to be the bodyguard of the high ground, but they're going to toss him over towards Moose. Moose is like, hey bro, chill, I don't want this guy on my face. Mago still on the run, trying to get himself away. The poison's not really finding him. Dartmouth will be fine, and that is just a huge win back to front for OG.LATAM.
Yeah, massive team fight for them, especially because the way they started it, right? Like, they start killing off the supports. Polison on the ancient oppression actually doesn't really connect on anything with his Ice Blast. And it's like, you use the Golem, you kill the SD. Sure, the Weaver goes down, but look at the positioning from OG.LATAM. They kind of like, they go very far away from the Medusa, kind of encircling her. Then they slowly look at their targets, identify, okay, who do we want to go on? I think critically, because the A missed his ultimate, there was no like easy path for, you know, Slardar lock onto that hero, Medusa lock onto that hero, and they just didn't have the fight in them. So yeah, really good stuff from OG.LATAM, just kind of punishing Xtreme's lack of positioning. And with the amount of team fight they have, they could Golem at the start of the fight, and then they use Ravage at the very end of the fight. Like, that is so hard to fight into, of course. And that is where OG.LATAM, if they can take over the early game, get to the items as quick as possible, and dictate the game, then there will never be an issue of, will the spells be up? Because every time they're up, they should be getting kills. So Xtreme, they need to be careful that they don't fall victim to, you know, the pacing of OG.LATAM. But K1, he's getting surrounded in the top lane, as I say that.
Yeah, he's gone. He will get off the thunder, but death shall come for him. Regardless, you cannot escape. So something interesting happened there where Misho went really, really deep to steal the Wisdom Shrine. And, you know, that's obviously fantastic, but then they didn't really respond to the fact that no one's playing on the map anymore. And I do feel like that was just kind of a mistake from Hector. I don't know, like, when everybody's missing on the map, you go to steal the shrine, absolutely nobody's there can contest it. Do you not think that they should have had an idea that they were trying to make a play?
In general, that is just a very greedy place to farm, because it's the only tier 1 tower alive for Xtreme. Like you said, it's an area that Xtreme was already kind of somewhat playing in, and I think other Terrorblade players would have just sent the illusion and then gone to the jungle. So yeah, I think it's a lapse of greediness. Maybe he's expecting them to do something else and has a misread on the map, but yeah, shouldn't really be dying there. As
support, yeah,
get an XM kill, yeah.
Yeah, the Shadow Word plus Bugs combination is sort of funny. Look at that damage, just ticking damage until the end of time. He escaped at 15:14 and then died at 15:20. Unlucky. Six and 10, promising start for OG.LATAM. Really good start to this game. A couple of mistakes, but when it comes to the big fights, they have been absolutely on top. Xtreme need to find a little bit more space for Arme, a little bit more time for Arme.
Farming towards more farm, right? Because he's going for the Miona build, sorry. And of course, Miona doesn't work on the Medusa, the active, in regards to the proccing of it. Sure, the Maelstrom from the right clicks procs, so he'll have to put that onto a Centaur or Slardar to utilize the active component of Miona, but...
Wait, why doesn't the active work on Medusa?
It's based on the HP, not...
Oh, I didn't know that.
Like damage done, right? And mana shield doesn't count. Or at least that's how it worked like a week and a half ago, so yeah. I hope there's been no sleeper patches and I look like a fool, but...
Oh, I genuinely didn't know that, that's cool. Yeah. I like the disparity between these offlaners as well. One of them has a Vlad's and a pipe, and the other one has a Blink and a Crimson Guard. Yeah. Entirely different build, but also very similar.
And as much as I praise the Crimson Guard, it's like... I feel like Xtreme have been losing because their supports are dying to the magical burst of the Tiny, right? So maybe the pipe could have been better, but we'll see for now. Was Xtreme very quickly will become independently tanky, with Slardar getting a BKB, SD getting a Glimmer. Like, they'll be able to deal with the magic damage shortly. That's how Misho does get caught.
That's an incredibly greedy swarm coming out from him. He was out there, he turns around and tries to swarm the wave. Like, absolutely illegal gameplay, red card.
That area of the map just seems to be the the bad spot
OG.LATAM's
yeah.
Oopsie zone.
They also, like we're showing on the screen, have a lot of wards in the top corner of the map for Xtreme. Like the middle area is quite dark for them. They're trying to hug the side.
They actually don't know if this is real TB, I think. Like, Plus, and like they should have just gone on him by now, but they're not. They weren't sure if it's real. Now they realize it, and they will just kill him. So that was kind of insane.
Yeah, he's very dead. Yeah.
I mean, they're watching it for a good like 5 seconds there, being like, "Do we just kill him?" It's like, yeah, I guess so. All right. So Hector goes down again. This thing's getting awkward here. Mago going to come in. They're still going to try and take this by Jinky with the disruptions. Try by a little time. Xtreme jumping on the backlines, trying to blow up Moose. Moose trying to get off the golem. Does do so, but will finally, actually he's still not falling. Moose finally dies. And El Misho's getting in around the backlines as well. It's just trader supports at the moment, but in comes the Avalanche onto XXS, and with the golem helping out as well, they will be able to bring him down. Double kill for Dark Mago, holding this game together. I doubted you, Dark Mago, and that's my fault. That's on me. You had a great lane, your supports secured your lane for you, and now he is popping off and making plays, and he's going to keep trying to do so, trying to find the toss back onto Xtreme. Doesn't have the best position to do so. Avalanche not going to be available, but the damage is there.
He's dead in base.
Him down.
His body is literally in base on Slaughter.
There's a dead fish in Xtreme's base.
They have really found a way to shut down the Slaughter very nicely. And of course, like you said, it is Dark Mago doing it on the Tiny. You'd think the Slaughter having good laning matchup would be able to, create these moments, but the support rotation, everything, just perfectly breaking down the fights. And it's helpful. I think mid-Tiny excels when you know you're not the entire fight for your team. When you're the initiator and the control and the pickoff, it's scary. But here it's like, he doesn't have to be the one always starting the fight. It can be the Golem, or the Weaver randomly running in, or the Ravage, right? And then Tiny, using all of that chaos, can perfectly pick the entry to the fight. And that net worth now, Slaughter, falling behind all the other 5 cores in the game. He is just kind of, feels like he's becoming more of like a position 4 in regards to his economy shortly, if he doesn't find a way to keep up.
Yeah, I don't know what that way to keep up is. It's probably finding more fights and more kills, but every time he goes through a fight, it doesn't really end too well for him, so BKB farming might be necessary, which is just a sad position for a mid-Slaughter to be in.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
20 minutes in. It's a really good start for OG.LATAM still. Sure, Hector's had some bad deaths, but he's got himself an Aegis now, so should be able to start to put a bit more pressure on the map. Hame will respond to that by running to the enemy jungle. Yes, the build is Manta, Maelstrom into the Aghanims to try to get plenty of Maelstrom procs. Sounds pretty cool. I'm into it. We'll see how it works out. Not a build I've personally seen recently.
The addition of Aghanims was such a beautiful thing for Medusa. Like, the idea that you can just buy an item to get your old 25 talent it's actually just so exciting, because you see into the mind of the players, like, when is it actually value to have the modifiers? And of course with Maelstrom or Skadi, like Daedalus, any of these items, it is very, very good value, of course. Some Medusa players don't often go for it until like 4th or 5th item, but here, with this build, it does feel like it's pretty good to get as early as possible.
Yeah,
it's kind of just it's better version of Gyrocopter Axe, right? You get one, I get everything.
The only thing to mention about this is that like Maelstrom does have an internal cooldown. It doesn't show it, but it's like 0.2 seconds or whatever, so you can't do it on every single attack. When you can't do it on multiple attacks, I mean, whenever you do the split shot.
Critical thing is just amplifying the amount of chances, right? As OG.LATAM are already at the 22-minute mark, trying to hit the high ground. That is such a K1 thing to do.
Yeah, K1 on a transformation hero. It's almost like the Ancient has like a 2,000 or like 3,000 aura radius, which Hector, when he enters it, he just pops his, if he's trying transformation heroes, he's playing Sven or TB, it's just God Strength or Metamorphosis every single time he comes within that zone and just gets drawn into it. But this is really good from them though. They've taken every single tier 2 tower, they're putting this Medusa onto the back foot. Like, yeah, she's super farmed, but still not going to be able to take a fight here. But they feel like she can. Smoke up. They want to try to get in. And let's not forget, you know, this Maelstrom's going to give you a lot of extra magic damage on Arme, which is going to be very useful against this high armor but relatively low HP pool hero in the Terrorblade.
Xtreme, though, they're smoked up. They have all the items that they need to find a kill. Honestly, they can kill anyone, even the Tidehunter, if they can get the initiation correctly. But holding the low ground makes it a little bit difficult to actually find someone, and Elmisho doing a really good job at bodying the smoke if they were to commit, but they back away very quickly. Xtreme might know the fact that if they don't find that entry, fighting is bad, right? Because it's like, if you kill let's say a Weaver, then suddenly the Golem follow-up or the Ravage follow-up is going to dismantle you. They need to get the Terrorblade kill, or the Tide kill, or like a big impactful kill straight away. Of course, Ice Blast is the only reason any of this would be possible.
Yeah.
But saying kill the Tide first sounds so silly, but that is why Ancient Apparition is, you know, one of the best heroes in the game at the moment.
Yeah, he makes anybody a viable target. Here we go, jump in, toss back, it is onto a Centaur. XXS going to get that Lotus onto himself and now pop the Stampede to get himself to safety. Is there going to be any sort of follow-up? I mean, they have forced out the BKB from Dartmouth, so not an empty trade. A BKB for a Stampede.
I just love how OG.LATAM was itching so much to actually just hit the high ground.
Yeah,
they always like, they run there and they're like, okay, maybe not. Now they have to wait for meta again, and they're gonna run back. Next time though, K1 will have the butterfly. Of course, that is one thing that we didn't really mention is the atomization from Arme. He is respecting the reflection in some capacity with this build, but with the Manta being able to dispel the reflection, I don't know if he should care too much, and yeah, he's now looking at the Scardy and the Butterfly. So he does not really care about that spell at all.
Yeah, a little interested because we're going to have a Butterfly on Hector pretty shortly. In fact, I think it's coming out now. A little interested we don't see the Medusa planning in an MKB at any point here. You know, I suppose that Mjolnir gives you some sort of damage through the evasion anyway, but it still feels like the TB's gonna have a pretty easy time of things. Not many threats. Elmisho actually going for the diffusal blade after his 4 staff, so looking to sort of transition into another core. Help them click down this Medusa, help them bully some supports. Could be very value. And yeah, I mean, you know, you've got this TB on your team. You know, you can sort of afford to play at this slower pace. However, Illich is walking in a really weird direction here, and he is going to get caught out, but gets the Ravage down onto 3 before he dies, and he's still holding his ground. Will finally drop, but he's got a lot of damage off in response as Paulson's already dropped from this, and the TB illusions well actually stolen, almost killing off Elmisho. That was the Shadow Demon's illusions there, turning around and blasting, and Dartmouth tried to go in, but didn't realize his team have kind of left him. He'll be tossed back, though, to try and get Mago out of here, and it looks like Mago will be safe. So, really, the lack of catch, the lack of lockdown, really hurting Xtreme, because they were not in a good position there on the side of LATAM OG, but XG just are unable to punish.
A little concerned for OG.LATAM in the fact that the Terrorblade did go for the Butterfly. And with the SD in the game, you're now taking over the Terrorblade and sending Butterfly illusions to kill a Warlock or to kill a Weaver, to kill anyone pretty much. And you know, the start of the fight is exactly what you expected to see from Xtreme, right? See the big hero, go with the Ice Blast. Of course, XM with the Slardar had the BKB pickups. He was able to disengage from the fight. And look at that. That is my concern here. How easy did that Weaver get shunted out of the fight? What happens next time if the illusions are hitting the Tiny here, right? With the Slardar combo or with the Centaur combo? You know, like, the fights could get very, very scary for OG.LATAM if they don't execute on them correctly.
Moves very carefully, backed himself away from that Tormentor. Wasn't going to die to the Tormentor, but there was an A blast coming in. He read it, he backed himself away, and he lives because of that. So just a nice little heads-up play. Recognizing what's likely to happen. But yeah, it will be hard for the supports. I mean, TB, he can consider, I mean, he will get the BKB actually to just try to stand his ground in the fights a bit more, and a byproduct of that will mean that Shadow Demon won't really be able to get those illusions from him. But if the TB ever dies, Shadow 7 is going to be a problem. The problem is the hero has to be killed by Shadow Demon? Okay, well that's going to be, oh no, regardless of distance, sorry. So yeah, that will be a problem if the TB dies in the fight. You're going to have this giga strong illusion to deal with.
The pacing in the game feels like OG.LATAM are the one that have to decide what to do, right? It's like, oh, my apologies if you can hear that.
Nope.
Nice.
No, you just sound like
this whole power outage thing really is
You got you on edge, hasn't it?
Yeah. It's my mum calling. She's like, "Are you okay?" I mean, this game also has me on edge as well. I'm slowly getting more concerned for OG.LATAM if they don't find a way to kind of at least take a Rax to, you know, take the Roshan, do something to control this phase of the game. They're giving a couple too many openings as they're jumping onto a Shielder and Tiny. That is not the jump you want to go.
Yeah, that is uncomfortable. I mean, the Centaur should be alright. Jinkyu's going to throw out a disruption. He's got the Stampede if he really wants to use it here. There's an anchor attached to his butt as well, so can't really do a whole lot. Almisha trying to poke and prod around the sidelines. It's just a little trade of spells, a little tossing and turning. Nothing big committed to this fight. Not even the Metamorphosis used, so... The smoke here from Xtreme is interesting. That is an important pickup, yeah.
And Butterfly on the Medusa, the massive items. This is the Roshan fight. This is the... Oh, they got the jump!
It's a good target, trying to blow up Illich straight off the bat, but he still gets off the Ravage and can look for the turnaround now. Finally, Illich will fall, as in the backline, Jinkyu's in trouble as he's being beaten down by Dartmago, but Ame just in the middle of this fight, dishing out so much damage. The arrows are just coming, and where is Hector? He's nowhere to be seen. Finally turning up to the fight, but everybody's dead. He doesn't have a team left. XXS jumps in, gets the stun. Now here's Ame to help out as well. He's going to pop the BKB. He's looking for a stun to target, but with the Lotus Orb, can't do it. So he's just awkwardly sitting around. Lotus ends, goes for reflection, but K1 Hector has nowhere to go. He's got to run himself back, and they are still chasing. They really want to kill off this Terrorblade, and they might just be able to do it. XM stays on him, keeps going. The whole team, they don't want Roche, they want Hector, and they will find him.
Xtreme did such a good job on the supports to cut out that fight. It looked like it was so dangerous at the very beginning because the SD got caught on the initiation, but with the Essence Ring, with the Glimmer Cape, being able to just disengage up to the high ground. We're going to see the highlight here, right? Like, they jump the Tide at the start of the fight. He has to use a Ravage very quickly. It clips the SD, but look at how Jinkyu is able to disengage up the high ground with the burst of heal, the bonus HP. They're just not in a good position on OG.LATAM, right? Tide's already dead. Weaver's dead to the Medusa. The Tiny's by himself. Terrorblade's on the top side. Like, Xtreme, they were together. They were enabling each other, doing the damage. But OG.LATAM, it was one by one. Tide uses Ravage. Tiny jumps in. You know, everything was just disconnected. And of course, like we said, K1 was not in the fight. They need to play together. They need to use all of their team fight cleanly. The issue is, as the game goes on, that team fight is not matched with big burst damage, right? The burst damage was the Tiny in the early game. The mid to late game, it's Terrorblade right-clicking over the course of, you know, 10-15 seconds to get a kill. Like, he doesn't have a Daedalus or a Skadi or any kind of big ticket item to kill in the moment. So yeah, Xtreme punishing that lack of burst and just kiting the fight beautifully.
Ame now feeling so strong for the first time in this game. He can step up, he can hit towers. But in the backlines, Almisha's trying to be annoying, trying to cut waves. I don't think they really stand much of a chance of catching him out here. Jinkyu and Moose actually both go through the portal at the same time. Sort of funny. nether swapping each other across the map. And yeah, Almisho does cut this wave. Arme, he had a creep though, so can get a decent amount of damage up on this 2-2. In fact, maybe even bring it down. Yeah, he can. Nice. This is just a mirror of what we saw when the TB had the Aegis as well. It's so similar in how these two heroes are played, these big Giga carries. Get an Aegis, walk around the map, go click things. We've got a bug catchers on the case. Pest control is here. And it looks like this Weaver's going to be toast. Oh, look how many Weavers Xinkyu has. He's a bug lord.
Yeah. We didn't even mention it. SD does have the facet, right, of creating illusions that die. My apologies.
That's all right.
Kind of hype. Terribly dies. Haha! My big boy illusions here.
Yep. Deals 10% less damage, but takes 100%. Well, technically not 100%, but let's just say 100% less damage than the disruption illusions take.
I saw K1 get close to a tier 3. I was worried he was going to pop meta and click it again.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't. Well done, Hector. He's reformed.
Great interview question. K1, why is it when you see a building as a transformation hero, you always seem to transform?
Can't resist.
He saw a Centaur.
Yeah, I mean, Centaur is out here, but also inside the base. Illich is getting jumped and just killed off by Arme. He was kind of trying to be the bodyguard to the high ground all by himself, but didn't have a team. And Almisho completely whiffs that. Gets caught out, stomped up by XM, and now they're gone for the tier 3. You need to come home. They do recognize that. Hector is here. He could be available. He's got to find a way to defend this, and I don't know if there really is one. As XM's going to jump on him, moves, backing him up, but does not have a golem. Used it over on the top side to try and get a kill, and wasn't even able to do so. This is a really, really tough few minutes of gameplay for OG.LATAM. They have not responded well to this pressure that's been coming out from Xtreme.
It only works if they get the Centaur kill, but
they didn't.
Such an optimistic attempt anyway on such a tanky hero. And with no meta, no golem.
K1 just buys up for a Hurricane Pike right now, but he doesn't have Metamorphosis anymore, so yeah, I don't think so.
That 55-second timer is going to just really eat at their ability to do literally anything, and maybe XG want to be respectful, but I don't see why they should. Guys, you know it's on cooldown.
Oh my god, Hector! He just bought the Hurricane Pike! Almisho with the save with the Aghanim Scepter. Time-lapse keeps him alive and keeps his fight going. He's just hacking away at the Medusa. Medusa, though, has the Aegis. Hector, I don't know how much you can really do here. They will at least kill him once, and we'll be able to do that at the least. It's not much, but it's honest work. The Medusa goes down.
Nice blast. Yeah, can't enter the fight.
They actually might have just bought themselves time for Metamorphosis. 15 seconds. 15 seconds is what they need, but these barracks, they will not be staying alive for 15 seconds, that is for sure. One goes down, melee barracks remaining. They also used every spell at their disposal to try to make that defense happen without a Metamorphosis, and, you know, sure, they managed it, but... Here we go, jump in from the Tiny, but immediately stunned up, and he's just being beaten down now. He can't find the follow-up. Tiny, he's just dead. Xinkyu getting that kill now, moving on towards Illich. Illich is trying to escape. XXS stun available in just 3 seconds. Illich, oh, the Ice Blast, it catches him out. He might just be dead in the fountain. Over on the side, Almisho's got it close as Hector trying to find it to Arme. Arme getting low, getting low. Arme, oh, he's not gonna drop. He's not gonna die. Unbelievable. GG is called. OG.LATAM will fall flat in game number 1. Xtreme Gaming, they dealt with the pressure coming out. Pressure onto DarkMago. We shall see. Let's get into it. Game number 2 of Xtreme versus OG.LATAM. Find out who's going to be taking the second one. Game number 1, pretty close. OG, they held the advantage for the longest time. But in the end, it was Xtreme who come out on top. Of course, our observer for this series, Patrick, Mr. PTP. Won't be missing a kill.
No comment.
Better not have. Better not have. Yeah, jinxed. Jinxed. No pressure, buddy. This guy doesn't miss kills, though. Every time he misses a kill, a hair falls out of his head.
You know what he does miss, though?
So...
Tormentors. He misses Tormentors.
He misses Tormentors. That's
a really in joke that only me and him will get.
All right.
I hope he's smiling. I hope he doesn't feel bad. I'm sorry. I love you.
He's fuming, absolutely. Raging. His mouse is crumbling under his...
I'll send him a WhatsApp real quick. I'll send him a little heart, just in case. There we go.
So
I don't have any hearts. Don't have an egg.
Looking to contest. I mean, last time around, by the way, you missed this, but Xtreme got all 4 bounty runes. It doesn't look like it'll be happening this time around, but they're still looking to mess with them, but no, it'll be 2 for 2.
That sounded kind of toxic if you just joined the stream. It's like, analyst, you missed this, by the way. It's like, no, my power was out during the first 4 minutes of the last game. Like, I had no clue.
Weren't paying attention. But...
yeah. That was very, very critical of my job there, no man. Jesus.
Yeah.
But, look at the start. Illich and Elmisha doing the body block double Iron Shell with Battery Assault. You don't see it because Clock's just not picked, but they can fully delete the wave, and it could just be, you know, rinse repeat for a couple more waves here. We'll see how they want to handle this. Looking.
So mid was kind of interesting. Dartmago's tried to come in. He needs to get the D-ward straight away, and he will be able to take it down, which now makes this playable. So it's very exciting to start with in these this Sand King versus Monkey King matchup.
Sentry warfare is key, but Sand King, he knows that. He started with 2 sentries to the 1 of the Monkey King, right? So Dyer just doing a little bit of a better job at respecting the need for the vision in the mid lane.
He's actually doing great on this first wave as well, and both of the sentries were of course purchased by Moose and given to Dartmago, so if you're wondering why Moose is a little light on the old vision and the old resources, the starting gold, then that is why.
So I quickly change it to say Dar's like, I'm pretty sure that this... You think these cores are buying their own sentries? Probably not.
Not a chance.
Top lane. We're expecting a bit of a scuffle up there, right? Between the Slardar, the Ursa. Level 2 does go the way of Slardar, but the Shaman just isn't in position to be able to utilize this timing. Of course, they have been dragging waves and doing shenanigans, and Clock falling a little bit low. Doesn't have a salve.
He's playing with fire a little bit, but doesn't get burnt, so I'll be alright. And now he's stacked up the wave for Ame quite nicely, so Ame's going to be able to farm nice and safely in front of his tower. I said Illich has grabbed another wave around, so it's all getting very confusing down here. I mean, I don't know if Elmisha can even come near Polos, and it's very hard without the cogs especially. He does now pick it up, it hits level 2 and grabs it, but you know, if you get these marches down, the laser, you're not going to trade particularly well, even inside the cogs, so Elmisha just keeping his distance. Heading on to Illich. Illich taking some heavy hits. Won't be killed off, of course, but there's still a lot of damage coming out onto the Darkseer. Very efficient trade from Army and Paulson. Not really a trade at all, to be honest. Very one-sided trade, you could say. They are just really controlling up this bottom lane.
Yeah, I was expecting the Darkseer and Clock just to live behind the tower, right? Just to keep double dragging waves, maybe bring out some additional tangos and get their XP that way. But yeah, they opted to play a bit more traditionally, and their Tinker's just kind of dumpstering them.
Yeah, I wasn't going to use quite those words, but yeah, he really is. He's putting them in the ground. Illich can't step up.
Yeah, we're not gonna shy away from the facts here. Arme is 26 CS and not caring. Yeah, he's loving life.
Stream, we say it how it is down here.
Yeah, it's true.
If you want, he's starting to struggle a little bit. You know, you gotta go to the old streams. We do that around here.
God. That is a big problem though for OG.LATAM. If their lanes don't go well, their recovery is just farming more, right? Like Sand King wants to jungle, Darkseer needs to jungle, Ursa wants to jungle. You could argue, of course, Sand King with Blink Dagger does play the map, but every core needs to hit creeps as their recovery plan. There is no like quick kill to make. Of course, the asterisk is if Sand King can find a hero by himself, isolated away.
Yeah, it's a big asterisk. But at the same time, Mago's been pretty consistent on his Sand King at the moment, one of his better heroes. So I'm expecting big things. Already doing fine in this lane. You know, I wouldn't say destroying it or anything like that. But yeah, XM, you know, in this favorable matchup now at level 5, should be able to put a bit more pressure onto Dark Mago and should start to take over this lane. Again, does he have the dust? Okay, he doesn't have dust yet, but eventually we'll see XM getting out dust, which means that he's, you know, looking to potentially kill Dark Mago, or at the very least really force him out of lane and keep him out of lane.
You can see that he did bring out another sentry, but got out dewarded again by the Sand King, so that's why we're not seeing kind of like the true threat occur. Dark Mago has done an exceptional job at winning the sentry game. And now the off-lane duo of OG.LATAM has hit up the jungle. They aren't doing it the old way of like the clock taking it during nighttime to not aggro it. He is just opting for Darkseer to take every CS and every drop of XP.
Very quiet lane so far, not a single kill up in the 5-minute mark. Both teams just farming it up at the moment. Slight advantage going to Xtreme, but nothing major at the moment. We have a bit of action happening up at the top side, but again, just a couple of spells. But everybody's so defensive. It just feels like no one's going to die until we get a rotation maybe from Dark Mago. He could break this game open. It's always interesting we get this deep into the game. You know, going to hit level 6 with no first blood. It's like, it becomes really valuable to try and make that first play and get that first kill. Of course, you still have that extra bounty on the first blood.
Also, Warlock hates this type of gameplay, right? He wants to get the Black Grimoire charges up. He wants to, you know, get level 6 before anyone else. And when the game's this stagnant, you know, half the reason of picking Warlock is gone. His facet is...
Let's see. Ursa getting rotated on. Pelosin comes in from the side. No level 6 on the Ursa. That'll be a first blood going to Xingqiu. Xtreme make the portal play and punish Hector once again.
The portal play. Do we abbreviate that at any point, or do we just keep it as portal play?
As long as Edge aren't playing, then yeah, that's fine.
Ah, noted. Ah, of course.
Illich has been caught out a little bit here. Arme trying to get the damage in, and XM comes in with a Wukong command, just making absolutely sure that Illich will be dying. And they get another kill. Xingqiu gets another kill. The only person with a kill in this game so far is Xingqiu. And they're trying to interrupt this as well. Moose, he's like, guys, we're just gonna let them take our Shrine of Wisdom, and I think they absolutely are. In fact, XM looking for more than Shrine of Wisdom. He wants to bring down Mr. Moose himself, and does do so. Very far, not gonna save you. XM comes in, grabs the Shrine. This is bad. It's very, very bad news. XXS and XM getting both Shrines with them, so both going to cause, and also that lowest XP hero, but they're trying to get a kill onto Arme. Arme, though, he's not going down. He's just not going to fall, and even turning around to get some hits in onto Dark Mago. But Arme doesn't care at all, as XM fighting up in the front lines. Illich getting low. The tree won't finish him off, though. He'll still stay alive.
This feels so bad for OG.LATAM, right? Just the supports and Xtreme are doing all the work, right? The Tinker rotation top to get that kill, then they rotate bottom, thrown into the mix as well with the mid Monkey King to take away the Wisdom rune. Double Wisdom going away of Xtreme, and the first 3 kills of the game. It's a 2,000 net worth lead, but you can feel the kind of the tempo just fully disappearing for OG.LATAM. Even the dewarding happening from Xingqiu as well. Like, they're walking around. It's a level 3 Warlock with 1 Grimoire charge. The level 4 Clockwork. The XP, the net worth, it is so damning at the moment. There's just a 5 level advantage at the moment. And it's only 8 minutes in. And that was my concern, right, with their lineup. If they don't win the lanes and kind of control a little bit more of the early pacing, their comeback potential is just hoping that they don't lose map and that they can get to items, and it's so unrealistic. As Pelosin enabling the dive once more top. Xingqiu coming in with the shackle, and
he's gone.
Has perished.
He certainly has, and Moo's going to be following him to the grave, unfortunately, here. Another right click, another kill for Xingqiu. Killing spree now on the Shaman. They're taking down everybody. Where is the Sand King? Where is the follow-up? Where is the response? It's just not here yet. Epicenter still on cooldown from that bottom fight. Really doesn't want anything to do with it.
But also, it's too early to expect a Sand King, right? Sand King,
yeah.
Like, for him to enter the game, he wants to be like minute 12 with Blink Dagger, you know, a couple points in Bio Strike, like feeling good. He doesn't want to be the desperation rotating mid hero that, you know, TP's in just to save the Ursa to then limp back to the base, right? Yeah, this is not looking good at all. There is no natural overlap on any of their heroes to help each other out. Xtreme, they know this, and they're going to continue applying pressure, but Sanking, he is actually TPing to top. We'll see what they can get from this. But the Monkey King, he's coming as well. Massive fight should be breaking out in the top lane.
Yeah, let's see how this one goes. Of course, the level difference might really start to impact this fight, but they do move on to the Shadow Shaman. Shaman is going to drop here. That'll be the first kill of the fight. XM gets onto El Misho. Conks don't quite work out, and El Misho will fall. Now, the epicenter comes down, but as does the Wukong's command. It chases back Dartmago, and now Dartmago's in some real trouble here. Moo's going to have to help him out, but he doesn't really have anything to throw him. Of course, he's got no golem as of yet, and they will just chase down this Sand King under the tower. The right click's coming through. Dartmago goes down. Moo's as well, also going to fall. Once again, Xtreme take the fight. They try to bring the numbers on OG.LATAM, but it is just not enough.
Am I seeing that correctly? Did Warlock actually eat like a 1 or 2 charge Grimoire?
Yes.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah.
He gained like 400 XP, which is not even like level 4 to 5. That's rough.
Yeah. Having eaten your tome and still being level 4 is... Yeah, I've never seen that before.
No.
Dire's top tower
I don't think I ever want to see it again.
I was trying to check to see if like maybe he dropped it somewhere or something. You know, it's like, this thing's it's not working.
Dire's top tower
But no,
under
he
attack.
Leave it on the courier.
because I know you can obviously move it to your inventory. Actually, I have no idea if you can drop it on the ground. As much as I joke about it, I don't know if you can. 5,000 gold lead for Xtreme. Oof. They're laning. Just again, just the moves, the supports. They've brought so much life to this game.
Can I ask why I'm not over this tome thing. Why do you think he ate the tome? What's the...
All right, so if I'm in his shoes right now, his game feels absolutely awful, right? Like his Ursa died twice. He TP put him for a wisdom and died. They're gonna try and go on Monkey King, which honestly,
pretty low here.
good kill.
Yeah, this is good play. Illich turns up, and with the Iron Shell and the Sand King, there is more than enough tick damage to just eat through XM's defenses. Now, Xingqiu is going to be the next target. Ekta wants to bring him down. Xingqiu tries to turn and hold his ground here, but that's not going to happen. Illich gets another kill. Iron Shell cutting through the Shaman.
All right, so back to the Moose situation. I feel like his POV of the game is everything that could have gone wrong has gone wrong. So maybe he either misclicked it whilst moving it into his inventory from his neutral item. That's one option. Or it was more of like my game's so bad, I just want any XP possible, they're fighting us. Which also is the wrong logic to have, because when you have a bad game on Warlock, you don't use the Grimoire to get 6 anymore. You use the Grimoire to, we win 4 or 5 fights, and suddenly I've got like 15, 12 charges, whatever, and now I get to like level 12, level 15. Like use it more for like the mid to late game leveling, right? So, yeah, this is such a rare moment, and it was not in my opinion, the correct way of using it, but this game's so bad for him that you could probably rationalize why he's done it out of desperation.
Sure. Interesting. We'll maybe we get to talk to him if they can turn this one around. Seeming unlikely at the moment, but you know, Illich, he's had a good fight impact. He's got Crimson Guard on his way now. It's not going to help out his Clockwork, who's just killed off in the secret shop, but
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
it's kind of the canary in the mine situation where Illich now knows that there's enemies nearby and shouldn't get caught out. Yeah, this is going to be a 30-minute Crimson for him. It's something.
Dire's bottom
It's not
tower
really
is
going to
under
change
attack.
too much in the fights, but it'll certainly make the Sand King and the Ursa be able to stand their ground a little bit more, which is exactly what they needed. So I'm a big fan of this pickup.
A lot of the damage from Xtreme is right click, right? You got Slardar, Monkey King, and Tiny, all heavily utilized right click damage as their primary damage source. And when K1 on the Ursa is only, what, 20 gold away from a Battle Fury, if you can just buy a couple fights of survival to then bring the Ursa into the game, it is going to feel pretty good. And in true K1 form, he's queued up the Basher before the Blink Dagger. So we'll see if he goes for Battle Fury Basher or Battle Fury Blink, but would be very K1.
Oh, nice jump here onto XM. Xingqiu is here with the stakes and with the shackle to hold back Dartmago, but it's not going to change XM's fate. He's still dead, and XM's not looking particularly healthy either, but Holston comes
Arme's
in,
back on
gets
that
the
fight.
defense matrix, and Arme's in very deep here. What is the play? Well, Dartmago coming in, looking for a bit of punish, but doesn't want to fully commit to Arme here. He had the Burrow Strike, but didn't use the Burrow Strike. Curious play there from Dart.McGo as Moose, well, looking like he might be getting dropped. Moves himself back though. XS being bounced around these cogs, not having a fun time in here as there's so much damage coming down. If you get caught inside the sandstorm with the iron shells, you are dying. Ame still here, still looking for an opportunity. He's going to jump in with a nice amount of clicks coming through, but still not dropping anybody as Palolson now getting eaten by the bear. He is going to be bear food as Misho gets killed off by XM. XM finds one on the sidelines. They'll jump in onto Ame, but Ame is still plenty healthy. He's absolutely fine during all of this, and now they find the Ursa. That's a big pick off. He stays too long, and K1 will get brought down. They find something out of that.
Yeah, the key thing for OG.LATAM is like they're being proactive in the game, right? They're playing around the Sand King. They got the Monkey King kill. They dragged out the fight long enough in a way where they kind of baited Xtreme to think they could go for some return kills. And gaining 2,000 gold with how despair the early game was, you take that. Sure, the Ursa dies at the end. Room for improvement, but getting the start of the fight, getting the pick off, playing on the Sand King, these are the things that you need to do to have signs of life in this game, and just stalling out that net worth advantage is key. Slaughter though, he got a little bit keen, right? He did this like really cool blink over the golem on top of the warlock, but there was no follow-up. Monkey King was dead. He couldn't play around the Wukong. Yeah, very good. Dart.McGo on the Sand King. He is feels like he's everything right now for his team.
He is, yeah. I also think Illich has been doing a really good job of sort of like providing the
They're doing the move.
And...
We've seen this move before.
Yeah, we have.
Look at the Sand King. Look at the warlock. Oh, they back out from it. Boo.
Yeah,
it's like the identical smoke. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting that Moose and Dart.McGo also see that something's wrong here and decide not to go for it. So both teams kind of reading and rereading each other. It's almost the clockwork making it two odds with the rocket flares, you know.
Oh,
they're taking Roche.
Okay.
Now this is a trade and a half. This is a play. This is really, really smart. You know they're going for this Tormentor. You can't really stop them. You could go for some, like, you know, a cheesy attempt at a play, but it worked last time. Probably won't be working this time around, but you go for the Roshan instead. And now K1's going to be sitting with his Aegis. This is really, really good. And will most likely be farm, right?
I would say farm with a sprinkling of, if you see a chance, you'll happily go run at them. Again, I'm so intrigued to know what's happening with K1's build. Like, is he actually just going to go for the Basher first? Like, how? Again, I don't have the stats, but how often do you go Battle Fury Basher as your item build? Like, I feel like Battle Fury Blink has been like the build for so long on the hero. He's just changing up slightly, but again, potentially he's holding the gold. It does look like he's going to buy the Blink based on how his economy's looking. And he does buy the Blink. Alright, cool.
Yeah, alright.
So it's just a casual belt to bait everyone. Nice.
Yeah, doesn't want his trousers falling down mid-fight, so buys the belt.
No, it makes sense. That has been a big problem for his previous engagements.
Can't see it because the camera's cut off at the chest, but... Xtreme, they're still holding on to this tier 1 tower in the middle lane and in the bottom lane and in the top lane, so objectives have been really, really hard. It's very unusual. I wonder what the stats are for Aegis gained pre-tier 1 towers taken. Can't be very high.
Yeah, it's very, very low, at least these days.
Oh, hey Paulson, how's it going? Hook shot in. This might just be a dead Tinker. Although Tinker has a tendency to get out of these situations, but this time around I don't think so. That said, Time Warp with the shield coming out, but with the Shadow Word and the battery assault upon him, he will be falling. Tier 1 tower in the middle lane. Is it time to go for it? Is it time to make the push? No, it is not. It's time to find kills. Which is crazy considering they just use hook shot, but there you go. Dart.McGo goes back towards mid. We'll start pushing.
Sweeping through the map there, hoping to find someone, but Xtreme doing a pretty good job hiding off the map. The only hero who just showed was now Monkey King in the top lane. And Jinkyu, he understands that they're hunting on their side, so they instantly use the Serpent Wards. With the Glyph. And K1, he's getting set up potentially on the bot lane.
Yeah, has the Aegis, so the team will start to make their way over, but pops the ulti on the first life, trying to buy himself time to get away, but now the shackles come down. Life 1 is gone. There's already a Wukong's command down. The team, they're running. They're trying to get here as quickly as possible. I don't know if they're going to arrive in time. The Ursa is dead. No more Teddy on the top lines. Great jump by XXS, interrupting Dartmago's attempt at the counter initiation and completely ruining his attempt at an epicenter. And they'll just hammer him down. Moose is dead as well, so no goal. And Illich on the run, trying to get himself out of this one, but XXS will not let him escape, and he's just as fast as he is. The slippery Slardar closing the gap onto Illich, and Illich eventually might be falling. Where's your blink dagger on the Slardar? 3 seconds, doesn't even need it. He's faster anyway, so yeah, Illich will die. 4 heroes dead on the side of OG.LATAM. That was a crazy misinitiation, and Hector unfortunately going down twice with that Aegis. Not a great position to be in.
Middle tower is under attack.
The first Aegis never really is K1's best friend, is it? Bless him. Yeah, all by himself. Look at the minimap, right? They're just swarming down to him, trying to go like, oh god, guys, help the Ursa and Xtreme. They're already set up with the Wukong, with the Shaman Hex. He dies so quickly. And now his team comes in, like, the whole praise that we gave OG.LATAM was built around the aggression of the Sand King, the follow-up damage behind him, not the fact that K1 was leading the charge. It was all the Sand King. So that Aegis kind of baited him to that full sense of security. He moves to the tower, and again, his team is just not there. Cannot make these mistakes, especially when Xtreme were dominating the early game, and your lifeline was a beautiful call to go Roshan. You can't just throw away this little lead that you built for yourself in again, a difficult game.
Yeah. Things are very close, and it feels super bad in that situation. Team needs to be on the same page about where they're playing and how close they are. Interestingly, I think you can do that between middle lane and top lane, but middle lane and bottom lane is just way too far for your team to connect to.
It's true. The gaps between that on the Radiant side is very hard to just reposition.
Yeah.
Gee, they're smoked up. Blink Dagger, of course, on Jin Q. The Mage Slayer, soon to be BKB on the Monkey King. They are really hoping to find a kill, and they've got K1 potentially in their sights. Hex, stun, dead. Back to back kills on the Ursa.
It's not been a series, I'll be honest.
Ooh, that's a nice avalanche.
Yeah. I'm buying him a little bit of time.
Turning around, he has the blink.
I was going to say, he might want to go aggressively here, but blinks away, goes to safety, and we'll be getting out fine, so not quite the initiation they're looking for. Dartmago, of course, going for this Ghost Scepter, pretty common on these kinds of heroes. The Shinkyu looking like he might... No, never mind. Turns around with the Shackles, Misho's dead. The Iron Shell ran out, and yeah, the Shaman's absolutely fine because of that.
BKB complete on the Monkey King. I just think the optimization on Xtreme is just beautiful, right? You've got tankiness on the Monkey King, you got initiation on your carry Tiny, initiation on your Slard, on your Shaman, then you got the repositioning and the saves on your Tinker. Like, they really just, everything just layers together to take that skirmishing fight, to survive the epicenter, to then look for the big engagement. So it does feel like it is inevitable that Xtreme are going to group up and try and remind them that they are 10,000 gold ahead at that 22-minute mark.
That's a big difference. That's going to be really tricky for OG.LATAM to play up into. Again, like they always have ideas, they always have ways of playing back into it, but this is very reminiscent of their series we had yesterday versus Flips to Talon. Game 1, super close, anybody could have taken it. OG.LATAM put up a really good fight. Game number 2, it's just a kind of slow and pretty steady choke out. OG.LATAM lost a lot of their life in that second game, and this is sort of feeling exactly the same thing. Maybe a little bit better, but not much. We had that one show of life in the middle lane from OG.LATAM, but other than that, it's just been nothing really to talk about from them.
Yeah, I don't want to harp on it too much, but it just feels like OG.LATAM are a team that they play based on the emotion of the game, right? Like, if they're happy and having fun, they'll play well. If they feel like they're losing and the vibes aren't as good, then their gameplay also kind of correlates with that, right? It's kind of the one of the issues of this team. Just need good vibes. 24/7.
24/7 good vibes only. Absolutely.
Maybe joining OG, that will help, yeah.
Yeah, true. The masters of good vibes. Coming up on this BKB for Arme now, and that might be the item they want to start fighting, smoke up, start looking for engagements again. They just don't really seem to care about what they're doing on the side of OG.LATAM. They're going for a smoke without sanking here, which to me feels like a crazy decision. Let's see if it can work out on something. Paulson has been seen, and that's going to be a kill for them. So nice catch, although once again the tendrils of the deep coming out, messing up the play a little bit, but Paulson still goes down. Mid lane now, setting up onto Arme a little bit. Arme runs the sidelines, but they're actually jumping on the backlines and trying to find XXS. BKB out from XXS though, as he turns around with the stomp, trying to run himself away, but Dartmago trying to chase it, going for the epicenter, trying to finish off XXS the old-fashioned way, and he will be able to do so. The fish is dead. XM as well, also jumping forwards and forced to Wukong defensively here, just trying to get himself out of dodge, but there's Chiro's chasing him all the way down. OG! They're coming back into this one. What a fight from them.
They threw absolutely every single spell into the mix, and Arme, he just wasn't there. Of course, the kind of the chain kills is what you want to see, right? We're not arguing the fact they have the team fight, right? You've got Epicenter, Burrow Strike, Chaotic Offering, Vacuum, Hookshot, like every single spell that you would want in a team fight. It feels like OG.LATAM happened this time around. They used it in that perfect order. They find each kill, of course, starting with the Slardar. Just look at the minimap, right? The Monkey King all the way at the top side of the map. The Tiny sitting up by the top active rune, not opting to enter the fight. So by the time that's already developed, the big hitters, the top 2 net worth of Xtreme, weren't even there. So it was a 3v5 and OG.LATAM very quickly capitalized on that, killing the first 3. And then also the Monkey King, who was very late to enter the fight. You couldn't have asked for like a better engagement for them. Xtreme were just not ready for how quickly that fight developed.
No, they were not, and it's going to be another kill, this time onto Elmish up on the top side, so they get a bit of retribution on Xtreme, but it's onto a very minor target. BKB finished up for the Ursa, of course. We also did have the Monkey King and the Tiny's BKBs finished, so very surprising that Arme didn't turn up to that fight, but just never really looked good. I think most players wouldn't have. XXS inside of the pit, starting onto Roche. 5 seconds for Epicenter. 50 seconds for Golden though, so that is a big one, but if you can get off good Fatal Bonds, that could be the starting point they're looking for. And that's backing away from Roche right now. I think the Sanking might have just shown on this ward, like up in this area, on the steps. So they're going to go for the wraparound, they know exactly where they are. Arme, Jinkyu, looking to start the fight. They'll see him though, they'll jump onto Arme instead. Arme holding on the BKB for now, just trying to get off as much damage as possible. Illich might just be dead straight out of the gates here, but no, he keeps himself alive. Greaves coming out. Arme, he's getting kited to oblivion and eaten down by the Ursa. Nice BKB, bro. Gets killed off anyway. Hector trying to finish the job, but the Yules is out, but there's a vacuum, there's a damage coming through onto Arme. Arme is dead. First fight just goes abysmally for him as Jinkyu trying to get away, but Hector chases him down. Moves, grabs that kills, follows and 4-stars down to the low ground. Time warps out, but he will die as well as Almisha closes the gap, and they get 3 big kills straight into the pit. OG.LATAM are back into this game and back on top.
Very quickly this happened, right? 1 fight, 2 fights, and now you have to say, can Xtreme even match the team fight, right? Like the way in which they're positioning now, it's night and day different. The evolution from minute 20 to 28, it does feel like it's 2 different teams playing. Of course, K1, he does have the ability to frontline now, right? With the BKB, of course, with the level 18, the Enrage, he very quickly stands his ground with the Crimson and the Greaves and the Dark, so he also gets to disengage quite nicely. And for Xtreme, they just weren't able to bring their heroes into the fight, right? Like Jinkyu's on the fringe of the engagement, Arme's all by himself in the river, and OG, they start the fight by K1 getting jumped, but they disengage as a team. They move to the right as 5, and as soon as they see a chance to re-go, they move back in as 5. This is what we want from OG.LATAM. This is the type of team fight we've been, wanting to see for a couple games now, and it is nice to see it kind of finally connect for them. Question is, can they replicate it another time and another one, right? Like, they got another Aegis on K1. Hasn't been too effectively used, but...
Yeah, these were the hardest fights, so I'm feeling okay about their chance of the next ones, because the hardest fights where you're at a big deficit, they managed to pull it out of the bag. And now K1, he's going hunting and he's going to find XXS, but actually the Monkey King's been seen on the sidelines. That's a much juicier target for them, but catching him is a tricky task. And yeah, BKB to the tree lines, TP away. XXS though has still been found. Not giving up on this one here, as Illich trying to chase him down. Vacuum weirdly working out there at the end of the BKB. XXS will make it back up to the high ground and will make it to safety. 29 minutes. Huge swing, huge comeback in this game. Showing us that, yeah, OG.LATAM, you know, their mental game is not to be doubted. They've been in this situation before, they'll be in this situation again. They know what they need to do, they have faith, they have trust, and they have the good vibes. And now, Hector, of course, he's up on the high ground, blinking up there as well, and starts whacking away at this tier 3 tower. Not the fastest pushing hero in the world, with the corrosion haze upon him. It's a little awkward.
I mean, K1's in his happy place. He's hitting the buildings.
Yeah, true.
That's all
Most carries prefer to be in the jungle. K1 prefers to be on the enemy high ground, attacking tier 3s. Start and go. Going for a very strange jump here, but able to maybe kill onto Xingqiu. Xingqiu getting back to the base, kind of get inside the fountain. No, he cannot. XXS also getting pretty low in the middle of this. He's going to fall. Hello. Oh, big jump in from Arme. A lot of damage coming back the other way, forcing them out for now. There's Wukong's command coming out as well. They may get the first life off Hector here. But Hector, he doesn't have anything on the second life. No BKB, no enrage. This should just be back-to-back deaths for him. His team won't be able to save him.
Oh, the blink!
How? Hector getting down to the low ground.
Hex was on cooldown from Xingqiu, so he wasn't able to spam it on the spot. Of course, Avalanche isn't the best stun to layer on top of an Aegis, so
no,
very good blink there from K1.
Yeah, and critically he was facing in the right direction when he died as well, so.
I mean, this entire fight from OG.LATAM could have been the, oh no, they've overextended, the vibes are too good, but they do disengage.
The vibes are out of control.
Yeah, the vibes are out of control, but no, Sand King blinks away. Sure, K1 dies, but he also blinks away. If the Sand King dies from the Boundless, if the Ursa dies from the Aegis respawn, completely different scenarios. I think OG.LATAM very good there to utilize their blinks in that way to get out of what was a very self-inflicted bad spot, but and it's just another engagement where OG.LATAM are reminding Xtreme that you haven't drafted as much teamfight as us. You need to find pickoffs, and the way that they're playing, look how grouped they are. In the last, what, 8 minutes of the game, it feels like there's not a single hero on OG.LATAM that has ever left each other's side. They know that they just need to push lanes together, fight together, beat together. There's no reason to try and
slay together?
Everything together.
I think I've heard this one before. It is the right organization. The flower
it is the right, yeah. See?
Yeah.
See, it's bleeding through.
No copyright infractions going on here between these teams. K1.
Excellent.
Alright, I mean, they see him, and they want to go for him. They want to just jump onto Hector, but Hector, of course, has that ultimate, so can turn it around onto the Monkey King and bashing him up, as they'll just continue fighting. Oh!
Back into the
vacuum, up onto the high ground. What are you going to do now, XG? Not a whole lot is the answer. They are stuck. XXS going for the TP out here, and under the cover of the BKB might just make it, but you've lost XM in the back lines. Hector just did not stop swiping at that monkey the entire time, and I don't know if you've ever watched a nature documentary, but bear versus monkey does not end well for the monkey.
What about 100 monkeys?
Versus one bear? What kind of monkeys are we talking about? Are we like spider monkeys? Because probably not, but gorillas, you know, it's going to be close. Nah, it's easy with gorillas, isn't it?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Alright, we'll simulate it at some point.
I'm not sure a gorilla is a monkey though. I think it's... I don't know how wide the umbrella of monkey goes. That's what
I do not know enough about the animal kingdom to provide any analysis on this topic.
Yeah. Ironically, though, the scorpion can go 1v1 with anyone. He's going to die, but he's going to take you down with him if you're poisonous enough. Really makes you think.
What a cringe way to fight, though. Come on.
Yeah. When you're that small, it's kind of fair game there.
Isn't it like a bumblebee that, like, once they sting someone, they auto die?
Yeah, they do.
Is that like the shit version of the scorpion then? Yeah, exactly. It's like annoying for like 2 days and then you're fine.
least you get a hit in though. Like guinea pig or something doesn't even get a swing. You know, it's you don't take a bite off. You're gone. At least the bee gets in a sting.
So when you said take a hit, I was like, wait, what?
Oh my god, jumping onto the Sand King, but lovely response with the vacuum coming through. Dartmago still absolutely fine. In fact, going to be able to jump in with the epicenter now and start doing some real damage, chasing off Pelosa, chasing off XXS, and by chasing off, I mean killing. They're both gone. Monkey King jump into the trees, should be able to escape this one, but Arme isolated and alone, killed off again. Illich, the hero of the game at the moment, he is just coming in huge every single time, using these vacuums and saving Dartmago's life. This might be over.
I'm just happy to see OG.LATAM turn this game around, right? Like, we've seen this script from them in previous games in the group stage where they never really found that kind of confidence to execute on that team fight to do it. But in this game, it really was just like a light switch, right? At some moment, something sparked and they just turned up in every single fight. And of course, you like to see it, especially from the teams who are, struggling in the group stage. They're still contending to potentially sneak their way into a top 4 if they were to win some remaining games, and every win's going to help them out here. There's no buyback on time in 35 seconds.
Yeah, but tier 4s are just not an option for this team.
No.
They do not
take the
push.
tier 3. They do not push, but they do just kill everything. So you kill everything, get a Rax, go back, reset, kill everything, take another Rax. Play it slow and steady, don't get too carried away. They know that they are the ones driving this game forward. They were 10k down at like the 20-minute mark. Fast forward 15 minutes, they've now turned that into a 13,000 lead themselves, right? So there is no item, nothing they need. Simply just wait for their cooldowns, pressure spells in the fight. You make it sound so easy, to be fair.
It's an extremely long Roshan cooldown though. It's almost maximum 3 minutes on the dot. And they're like, screw it, we'll just go fight him again. Not waiting for that Rosh. Got better things to do. Imizrune grabbed by Illich. Heading up to the top lane, but Monkey King is long gone. XM's farming in a pretty safe place here, I'd say. But you're right. They just want to try and get this final wave. Final tower, final lane of barracks. Do we have any timings coming up at Xtreme which can give them a bit of life? Let's see. There's the Aghanim Scepter planned by XXS. He'll be heading in that direction pretty shortly. Arme, of course, has a ton of damage with the Daedalus.
Yeah, I think it's less about item timings and more just how they enter a fight. Like, they need to somehow jump the Sand King and blow him up, or jump the Warlock precon and like take away a key kind of cornerstone of the engagement for OG.LATAM, and then play on the sustainability of the Tinker. Because the supports right now, they cannot position when Fatal Bonds and Golems and Burrow Strikes are getting thrown around every fight. So if Xtreme can find a kill on any of these heroes, then maybe there's a chance, but that is where you have to keep praising OG.LATAM for the last 8 minutes of team fighting. They've always offered up K1 once he got tanky enough, right? Like, I think that's something that we also have criticized OG.LATAM for, is throwing K1 too early into the fights, or not being present. But this game on the Ursa, he has stepped up when he had the BKB to go, you know what, this is my job and I will do it very well. But it did take him some time to kind of find that role. Yeah. I guess that's a good point. He plays like he's always got the follow-up.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice little rocket flare is going to reveal everybody, but Arme's just going to jump into their faces and say, what's up, and start hitting away. Mago going for the epicenter, cancels at the last minute though, won't be throwing it down. XG get to back themselves away. Do you remember that when you started channeling the Sand King ulti, it was actually a channel, so you just had to do it? Oh my god, Arme's in again. The rest of the team have really backed themselves away, and he's got no BKB anymore. I'm so surprised that Arme's trying to do this, but he uses out onto the Ursa, stopping him from really being too aggressive.
They got onto the back line.
BKB is over from both of them. Jinq trying to find a target, but it's just going to go down. XM, his Wukong's command is just not really on the mark anymore. They'll just walk around it. Look at them all just walking around the Wukongs to get around the back. Finding XXS, he's got the BKB though, so he can back himself out. Aghanim still not quite completed for XXS here, so they'll try to blow up the Ursa once again. Arme just keeps trying to find this opportunity, and every single time he's taking about a third of his health. One more time might be enough to really start to threaten K1, but This is a really interesting gameplay from Ame. He's trying to bait out spells. He's trying to force him to use stuff, and honestly, he kind of is.
But... Oh, sorry, I thought it was going to be a but. There we go.
No, I just thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, alright. My but then is, we just identified the fact that for Xtreme to win a fight, Warlock has to die, Sand King has to die, maybe even the Clockwork, they have to kill someone here. But he keeps jumping the Ursa.
Yeah, he doesn't like him. Does not like Hector. Very, very big grudge with him. Now Roshan's gonna let out a roar to let everybody know what's happening here. Yeah, fresh BKBs available. Everybody can use them. Monkey Kings doesn't actually have his, as the Wukongs is gonna kind of split this up. Hector just gonna get forced off the cross though. That'll allow him to get out of the Wukong's command. And again, Wukong's command not really doing a whole lot. Roshan's about to go on an adventure though, which is gonna make this very interesting. Daytime strikes, everybody realizes and started running down the river to the other side of the map. Xtreme, unfortunately, have lanes to deal with. They do have Peloton, who should be in position to do that, though. Needs a bit of help, and it does look like Roshan is just going to go to OG.LATAM. Xtreme, very much on the ropes now. Aegis Ursa coming at you. Refresher Shard as well, that'll go to Moose. He scoops up that one up. Name double Golem, double Epicenter, double Ursa. This is going to be super tough to play into. I'm not sure I can believe anymore.
It does feel like it is somewhat inevitable. Maybe Xtreme can just find that entry, find that little magical moment. Just like OG.LATAM did themselves. Maybe the turning point could have been when Tinker pivoted right from his build. Like, he opted to go for more utility with the pipe. Like, what happens if he went for like Aghanims and Blink and slowly started going into a core, punishing the Ursa? Like, hey man, your BKB's on cooldown. Take this mischance. Take this, this massive damage. But he did continue going down the help my team. The team
yeah, it's either answer Ursa with the Aghanims and Blink and try to play that style of game, or try to negate a bit of the Sand King and the Warlock's damage. Both options are very, very risky. Hector blinking onto high ground as always. Starts heading away at that tower. Jump into the backlines, onto 3. Warlock just taken out of the equation straight away, and Illich not exactly healthy either. He's gonna fall. 2 big targets taken out by Xtreme. Shinkyu in the backlines trying to mess with the Ursa as much as possible. They've lost El Misho as well. They're still gonna try and fight this. Dartmouth Go coming in. Double Epicenter being used here on top of one another, and well, that's gonna get them a kill onto XXS. But nobody else. Just one hero being brought down with 2 Epicenters. Feels like it may be an overcommitment, but considering the position they're in, I don't really blame them. They need to get their Ursa out of here. They might just be able to do so, but Monkey King still in the trees, still looking, still chasing.
What a wraparound there for Xtreme. Like, we said that the only way for them to feel that they can win a fight is, finding the backline, finding the team fight. How well did they did it, right? Slardar tanks up double Epicenter from the Sand King. The Warlock dies, the Darkseid dies, no wall, no golem. Like, is it unrealistic to say, can Xtreme do that again? You'd like to think that OG.LATAM, after dying in that fashion, with all the spells still available, is as simple as respawn, go again, and just make sure that your backline's a bit more protected. But it is exciting to see Xtreme just identifying the way to take the fight. K1 does not care. He still has the Aegis.
He sure does. Onto the high ground. Ulti used as well, so full commitment to this tower. Again, no BKB, no ulti, no cares. The tower is gone. The final lane of barracks for Xtreme Gaming now exposed. Everything hangs on this. Mega creeps will not be easy to play into. Ame sticking his head out the base. We'll quickly head back to that high ground. don't have long left on this Aegis. 1 minute 30. I guess it's a reasonable amount of time to play with. And of course, you still have this shard up on the Warlock. He's going to tab it in now as well, so refresher shard available. Double Golem is available. Has the mana for it, just about. If he's anything below max, though, he will struggle. There's the first Golem coming down onto 4. Bye-bye, Shaman. He's the first one to go. XM just trying to leave. I mean, this is so much damage coming out with the epicenter, with the Golems bouncing around, with the Fatal Bonds. XM trying to stand his ground, but he's going to get caught out. He thought they're taking a step too far. Tried to punish, but it doesn't work out. Pololson has to stay away here. Arme jumps in. He's forced in deeper, though. That's not ideal. Arme, he's losing his life very, very quickly here. Arme's going to die. Buyback available, immediately coming back into it. They need to defend this barracks. They need to find a way to hold on to this game, but it's just feeling like it's an impossible task with the double golems bouncing around. They've lost the buildings. Can they punish? I don't know. Hector running back. Arme making himself a target here as Hector will jump in with the nullifier, but he uses out onto the Ursa, trying to control him up. Hex out onto Pololson. It's a reveal from Illich there. Sorry, from El Misho actually with the Scythe of Vice. Onto the tier 4s. Hector will not give them space to breathe. Now keep in mind, they are the cooldown team. They are the ultis team. And they are now running out of them. No chaotic offering, no wall. Actually, they do have wall. No epicenter, but refresher of it, orb available. So yeah, you can see why they were still looking to skirmish there and everything. They still had a few tools in their belt.
Yeah, Moo's drawing on the minimap as well. It's like, guys, let's leave their base. Roshan's going to be respawning soon. Play for Roshan, get the Aegis, and then let's look to close out the game. But you could see how hard it was for Xtreme to fight, right? Like 4 5-man vacuum into then a massive, golem. It was, I don't need to say it. You all saw it. It's very clear in your memory. The fight was just beautiful from them. Press ults, win fight. Xtreme, sure they had one glimmer of hope, a fight ago where they found this backline, but to do that in your base when you're the ones getting, initiated on, it is so difficult. And OG.LATAM are just capitalizing that every single time. And actually, it seems like the team is not waiting for Roshan. Look at their positioning. Moves, he drew on the minimap, he wanted Roshan, but now the team's going, you know what, lads? We're going for the base. They're not even smoked up. They are currently seen on the board.
Just a naked run into the base, onto Arme. Arme nullified up. I'm not sure he can do anything about this. He's trying to get away, but he's dead. Die back for the Tiny. This might be all she wrote. Tier 4's going down. Yeah, just the naked, in vision run at the Tiny. Arme doesn't respect it. And now Arme's dead. Tier 4's going down, Pololson going down, XM trying to hold his own here. It's a good amount of damage out onto Dartmago. In fact, Dartmago is going to fall here, so they've lost somebody. And he does not have the travels to get back into the fight. Will buy back anyway, come to the outpost, and try to rejoin the engagement any way he can. In fact, he buys out for the boots of travels, come back in on this one, so he'll be back here any minute now. Vacuum out, dragging XM into the middle of this. XXS holding his ground kind of nicely here against Hector, controlling him up, but the Monkey King has gone in deep and he gets punished, and now without him, I don't think there's any chance of survival. XXS is gone, Pololson is dead as well in the fountain. GG is called as the Ancient will drop, and it will be OG.LATAM taking game number 2 and coming back with a 1-1 into the